We don't know anything, or very little at this point, about the person that ran over the soldier yesterday, or what's happened here in Ottawa today that we're all watching. Some people are saying we shouldn't jump to conclusions about terror. This could be just people with mental illness. Is that being naive to think that? And we think of the situation on the Winnipeg Greyhound bus where that man beheaded the young man, and of course was held not responsible due to mental illness. When you look at something like that, as opposed to a group of people that were born and raised to terrorize and to think this way and to kill, what's the difference?
Well, first of all, these issues aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. You can have a mental illness and you can be disenfranchised and inducted into counterculture activities. So we have to take a look at the nature of that mental illness. The fellow who did the beheading, that was not an act of terror. This is a fellow who, in a psychotic episode where he was truly delusional, hallucinating, where the reality of the moment was not shared by him because he was so taken by his delusional reality. That is a very serious mental illness of a particular type. It's separate and apart from other forms of mental illness where we look at conduct disorders, personality disorders, antisocial personality, where these persons, they're not psychotic, but they have a different representation of society and their place in it than do you and I. They otherwise know what they are doing. And so that can be a factor for some of them in terms of being radicalized. But yeah, so in some ways these things can go hand in hand, but not necessarily the way the general public would understand.
Are terrorists mentally ill or just bad people?
Isn't that a wonderful question?
Without an answer, I bet.
Yeah, you know what? It could be good people led astray through their vulnerability and lack of services. So do they do bad things? Undeniably. Scott, no one is arguing their behavior, but we do need to understand what had led to that behavior because, where but for the grace of God go you and I. Had it not been for our particular upbringing at any particular point in time and the good, kindly influence of reasonable people, we, too, could look like any of these terrorists.
Good point. Worried about...